Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Carter, and we're covering more Infinite Magicraid content. And we are going to be talking about Dustin and why is he just so good. And there is a very debatable factor about him as well, considering PvP. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that in a moment. But for now, we're going to cover his exclusives, his emblems, his auras, his skills, and what equipment is best used for Dustin. So let's get into the video. First things first is his basic attack. Deals 180% attack damage to a single enemy with a 40% chance to reduce 20% attack of the target for 2 turns. It can be useful against those big bosses just to deal that less damage because they do hit hard. It does increase up to a 80% chance. Now his first active skill, Fort of Energy, restores health for all allies by 6% of their own maximum health and grants them a shield by 20% of Dustin's maximum health for 2 turns. The regeneration does increase, so he can heal a decent amount, depending on what allies you're using. You know, if you've got high health allies, then it's going to be very nice, because they're healing off of that, up to 12%. Exclusive 3 increases the strength of the shield granted by this skill to 40% of Dustin's maximum health. Now, his passive, and this is where it gets very, very interesting. Persistent charging. All allies additionally have 12% effect resistance, extra effect resistance, while Dustin survives, that is. When multiple skills increase its attribute, only the strongest one will take effect. Cleanses all the control effects from one ally under control status at the beginning of Dustin's turn. Now, we need to have a little discussion about this. I know this increases up to 20% here, effect resistance. 20% effect resistance for all allies is pretty nice. But this exclusive level 2 additionally cleanses all control effects from an ally under control status and restores their health by 6% of their own maximum health. Now, I've done some testing, and I was actually just talking to Kaya Mobile about it. I'm sure you all know Kaya. So, yeah, like this is interesting, and we were discussing if we could select, like, place a hero, say in slot 1 or slot 2, slot 3, you know, if it was like a trend to who he cleanses, because when we go into arena, we're starting to face Nasil and Asindo, or Nasil and Fiona, you know, multiple, like, double duo of controllers, meaning Catherine cannot cleanse it. She's stuck in a rota. You know, she just can't move because she's got 2 on her. But if we could pinpoint someone out, wouldn't that be amazing? Because we can cleanse all the control effects. Doesn't matter how many it is, they will be cleansed at the beginning of Dustin's turn. However, there is another issue, and the issue of that is that his exclusives at 4 and 5 only grant you 20% extra, 20 plus 20 base stat speed, whereas a legend grants you plus 50 for each one. So getting him faster than, say, Catherine won't be easy. Maybe it would be worth trying it out with a bit of a slower Catherine, but more health. Maybe it's something to test. Maybe that's something to test. But the fact is, it is very nice, and it's also nice for PvE, because when we're in PvE and someone is controlled, say in later factionabish stages as well, you've got the likes of Zyra, who's going to cause problems for you, and then Asindo in the final wave too against the bosses. So cleansing one of our allies could be the difference between winning and losing, so don't rule him out. That's all I've got to say on his passive, but it is, you know, there is no set route of where he is going to cleanse. There's no set route. It's random. Now, his final active skill deals 120% attack damage to all enemies with a 50% chance to reduce their effect hit by 50% for 2 turns. It is pretty massive. It does deal up to 180% attack damage, which isn't too shabby. You know, he can do a little bit of damage. Exclusive 1 increases the chance to reduce effect hit to 90%. So 90% chance to reduce effect hit. As long as you have enough effect hit, you are going to be landing that on everyone pretty much every time he casts it. And that in itself is very, very nice. I really like this. I think that's very strong, especially if you're against, say, a burner team. Now, let's have a little look at his exclusives all in all together. And you can see what I was saying there about the 20 and 20 on the final 2. increases the chance to reduce affect hit, additionally cleanses all control effects from an ally under control status, and restores their health by 6%, and he's also increasing his shield to a size of 40%, so he's a really nice exclusives, and it does make Dustin a very, very strong epic. Plus the fact that he can cause attack down against the boss, meaning, you know, he has some, let's say, you know, you could say it's equal to Consolidation 1 in that sense. So, you know, that's how we need to look at things. Anyway, let's have a look at his emblems. Let's have a look at his emblems. This is the route I took. If you want to go ahead and snip this, you can. Now, we was talking about the speed factor, and on a second set of emblems, it would probably be down the support tree, selecting the speed. You could also, if you really wanted to, go on the attack tree with support for PvP, just to deal out a little bit extra damage. I'm unsure though on that, but PvE, I'd definitely go for the max health and you know, and then the support tree. That's just how I feel. So if you want to snip that, go ahead and snip it. Now, moving on to his auras and what do we select as best. Currently, I have extra recovery aura on just because yeah. I don't know why I do. I mean, it's just nice he's recovering some health each time. This one was what I had on first, but I wouldn't use this. If I was choosing a green, it's most likely going to be the likes of range hit aura. Every one enemy target increases self-effect hit up, so we're guaranteeing that final active skill to hit. Meaning, like wave 2, when you're against all bleeders, you know, they're just not going to land the bleed. They're not going to land the bleed. So for PvE, it's very strong. PvP as well, you know, if you're against some teams that are high in effect hits and they're not a nuking team, you could choose Recovery Horn Aura. However, these are better on heroes like Wim or Catherine, you know, that cast twice in a turn. So they can pop off 2 active skills. But the fact is that his first active skill does also heal. So this stacks with that could be a very, very nice addition, meaning he is healing your team very well. Also, Tuck is very good at Recovery Horn Aura. If we was talking about speed for Arena, you'd probably want to max this bad boy out, but let me tell you, that's going to take you a long, long time. So don't even figure it unless you're an absolute kraken. What else could we go on this? We could go for he's buffing our allies, which would be, you know, Speed Mark Aura as well would be quite a nice one, getting those turns in faster for Tower. Is it Mastery Surge Aura could be good if you're using him in a burn team or a bleed team or a poison team for some reason. Dwarven Blessing Aura, if you really want to max out his health, if you find a way that he's useful for dungeons, then, you know, this would be a good option as well. But other than that, I would say the very best is going to be Recovery Horn Aura, to be honest. That's the very best, you know, because the fact is that he's healing as well with his second skill. 12% of our allies max health, their own max health, and then whatever it is of his own, whatever you have the aura upgraded to. Okay, so let's have a little look at his equipment. What would we put him in? Well, it's got to be a speed set. A speed set stacked with health. It has to be that. It just has to be that, because we need him going more and more turns to keep the buffs stacked, the shield stacked, and if we're using Recovery Horn, we're getting a much faster turnaround on those heals. We just want to stack health and stack speed. Effect hit as well is needed. Don't think it isn't, because he has a 90% chance that effect hit is still needed. If you're using range hit aura on the green, then that's going to be very useful as well to you. So, you know, these are the kind of roles that I got on this. But let's just quickly go through the sets that you would use. Now, if you don't have the speed sets, definitely go for health. Definitely go for health for PvE. You know, you could also argue as long as you have speed stats on your health set, he will be okay for PvE, especially earlier on in the game. But ideally, you want a speed set, you want the feather set, or you want the first aid set as well, because the healing effects granted in that too. So, and the effects. So first aid is probably ideal for Dustin. It's probably the ideal set for him. But let's have a little look what I rolled. You know, I've got a ton of gear spread around heroes, so it's hard for me to equip like good gear on so many heroes. But this didn't roll very nice, you know, no speed on it, but it did have the health rate and a bit of defense rate for survivability for Dustin. The chest piece, it has 3 into effect. It's actually a really nice piece, to be fair. 3 into effect hit, 1 into health rate, but none into speed. That would have been the ideal place for it to roll, you know. You know it, I know it. It didn't roll though. It was a low roll in the speed, however, so maybe it wasn't the end of the world. The boots, we got health rate, a bit of effect here, a little bit of effect resistance is always nice. And then on the accessory, we've got 2 in a health rate, 1 in speed, none into effect here. On your artifacts, you're probably going to want to take health. I mean, you could take attack, but it does depend. Like, this rolled 3 times into health rate, for goodness sake. 22.8% health rate. I would be crazy not to be using this on a shielder. So, you know, and the fact is he does deal some attack damage. So, you know, that's not the end of the world. That's okay. That is okay. It's a shame there isn't any speed on it, but it rolled 3 times into health rate, so what do we expect? The second artifact, you're probably going to want to choose Effect It or Effect Resistance. However, I got Effect Resistance and Effect It here with health rate times 2, so it was a nice piece. And again, it is increasing his base of attack, so it's not the end of the world. You really need to, you know, just because it's not the desirable base stat that we have on our artifact, if these substats are rolling, it's definitely worth using them. The final piece has to be speed. Has to be speed. I wouldn't even focus too much on the substats if you can't get it. It has to be speed, unless you get a piece that's health and then rolls 4 times into speed or whatever. But you are going to want to aim for speed, health rate, effect it. You know, effect resistance, defense rate, and attack rate. You know, you're not going to want the likes of crit rate or crit damage on this. So that is the kind of gear that we're looking for from Dustin. He does have a very good amount of health, 660k, 950 speed, 57% effective, and 40% effect resistance. And that does increase, don't forget, from his passive. So let's have a little look at how he performs. How big are his shields? Where is he used? Let's just go into the campaign test. I know we always do this. But let's just go into campaign with him and throw him in with God, that sounded like Crazy Frog then. Let's just throw him in with Lucifer and Space. Whoa, I nearly clicked. You've seen that, right? I nearly clicked Battle then. Let's just throw him in with Space and Lucifer. And you know, you can kind of see how he's working here. I will in a moment go into Faction Abyss and show you the cleanse on his passive at the beginning of his turn. So, I mean, there's his shield, and don't forget, it's healing their health by 6% of their health as well. You can see his basic there hitting the attack down, and you can see from his final active skill that Effect It is very accurate at landing. Just wait for it'll be his next turn, I believe, that he casts that. Never mind, it'll be his next turn that he casts that, unless it's his shield next. Oh, Space! I mean, look, everyone's under Effect It. Space is dead. Space is dead. That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. So we live with it. We live with it. So it's just Dustin and Lucifer. It's just Dustin and Lucifer. Can Lucifer solo the boss? Can he do it? He should be able to, right? He's not the strongest, my Lucifer. Not in a minute. But I think he's going to be okay. The attack down's helping you. Effect It down is always going to be on it as well. Yeah, we're fine. He can't really do a lot here, right? Okay. Intertwine's up. Wait, does he cleanse that? Does he cleanse Intertwine? Okay, no, he doesn't cleanse Intertwine, but you've seen that. Lucifer got stunned, Dustin had a turn, and Lucifer was cleansed. Lucifer was cleansed from that stun. So, you know, that's how good it is. You know, I know it can only do one ally, but it's super nice. It could be the difference between life and death. You know how close these fights can get sometimes, guys. You just know how close they can get. So it could be the difference. It really could be. And if you've got enough heroes, you know, alongside Advanced Arena, Dustin, very, very good. I'm not going to showcase Classic Arena. That's purely because I don't have it speed tuned to show you. But what we are going to do is we're going to go into Faction Abyss, which I was doing a moment ago. Now I need to remember what faction the freaking guy is. What faction is he? Is it Eternal Sector? It's not Eternal Sector. I should know this. It's not Wizard's Eye because is it Nameless Brotherhood? It is Nameless Brotherhood. Okay, so we're going to go in with all 5 heroes, alright? Now we're going to do a bit of testing on his cleanse. This is what I was doing a moment ago. So I want you to see that it is random of who he cleanses, regardless of where they're placed. So obviously going to leave... Oh! I had to turn auto off because it put... No one's going to land any CC on us like that. And that's another very good example as well of how good he can be in waves, because no one's going to land anything. Now, we're going to be getting CC'd in a moment. Okay, so Hardak. Garena. Anyone getting horrified? Sinton, horrified. Now, he cleansed Hardak there. But, hang on a minute. What happened to Sinton's horrify? What happened there? Because that disappeared, right? Oh. Nothing there. Okay, well, one more time. We need to get some CCs against us, please. Come on, Zyra. Do your business. Do your business. Okay, right. Stun, freeze, horrify, freeze. Who is going to get... It cleanses two! It cleanses two! It cleanses two! Wow! That's absolutely massive! That's huge! That's huge! That means... Wow! Wow! Okay, that's a completely different ball game. That's a complete different ball game. They need to fix the wording on the skill. They need to fix... Because he's cleansing two allies, as well as himself. That's massive. 1, 2, 3. Ah, just a 1. Yeah, just a 1. We've got to test this one more time, guys. I'm sorry the video's going on, but come on. Like, this is important. This is important. It's just, like, really important. Because this means PvP, you have a much better chance of cleansing no one. Alright. Zyra, you best friggin' stack it. Come on, stack it. Okay, good. Just good. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, along with him, obviously. So it's just a 4. No one's got an extra turn. Cleanse 2. Cleanses 2. Boom. Done. Wow. 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 That's massive. That's massive. Okay. I think that's enough on Dustin. I think you'll all agree how amazing he really is. Especially now. I was trying to justify him just cleansing the 1, but he's cleansing 2. He's cleansing 2 allies. That is massive. Could be a huge... If you can get him fast enough, if you can make him faster when you're Catherine, and the enemy team isn't too fast, you have such a better chance of survival thanks to CC. So go and build your Dustins, guys. Go and build your Dustins. If you can get them fast enough, all right? I'm Carl. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Have a great evening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Take care, guys. Bye.